Alright, hello guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be giving you my final forecast for the snowstorm coming up over the next 2 days for Maine. Before I get started with the video, I would ask that you would subscribe if you do like weather related content. I would also ask that you would like the video if you do like the video, that way I know what kind of content you guys want me to make. Also, follow my Twitter for nowcast updates with this one. I'm going to be updating through the night probably and through tomorrow on things going on with the storm as they're happening. So for nowcast updates, head to that. I'll leave the link right there at Prime Patriots is how you can follow me. Let's get right into it. We're looking at the European snow depth here. This is from last night because the 12Z isn't out yet, but the 0Z did kind of agree with all the 12Z models so far today. So we're going to be taking a look at that. You can see the White Mountains eastward pretty much are going to get those heaviest totals. See right there on that northeast tip of Vermont, you see those maybe 2-inch amounts, but I'm not forecasting for the 3+ anymore in Vermont. Also the Adirondacks possibly getting up to 2 inches, but again, going to be forecasting for 1 to 3, so anywhere in that range. The Catskills in some areas and there might get some surprise snowfall from this one, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that for sure. But through the Vermont Green Mountains range, you know, you might be getting a dusting plus throughout that region, so just be on the lookout for that, especially northeastern Vermont, like I said. But pretty much northern New Hampshire, you know, you're getting those 3 to even 6+ amounts there, especially for the White Mountains, going into the mountain ranges of Maine there, and then it kind of breaks up, and then you get some more as you head into eastern Maine as far as those heavy totals go. And notice that the very northern tip of Maine is not getting those heavy snowfall totals anymore. They keep the precipitation a little bit further off, so we're not looking at as much heavy precipitation totals there. So we're going to keep that into consideration once we get to the snowfall forecast of mine that's at the end. The mixing line is going to be very tight there at the bottom, so it's going to be a sharp cutoff line between, you know, the 4-inch amounts and getting practically nothing. So that's going to be the tricky thing to forecast, is where that mix line is going to be, because that's really going to affect your totals. So that's really why this is kind of a risky forecast here. GFS snow depth change forecast here again, you can see within, you know, maybe 50 miles it goes from a dusting to 3 inches. So that's basically your mixing line there. Again, like I said, it's going to be very tight, and some of those heavier totals in there, you know, 4 to 6, maybe more than 6 for the White Mountains. Again, some of the mountains of Maine, and then that extreme eastern central Maine region. Now here's the RGEM model, and this one's actually my favorite for this type of range. You know, you're talking inside 48 hours, so we're really close to this storm happening. It's gonna be a long drawn out one, so the final forecast has to come out a bit early for some of those, you know, where the snowfall is gonna be ending. That's gonna be in 2 days, so we're kind of looking at a far out thing, you know, at least over 24 hours until we see the final amounts of snow falling. But we see those White Mountains still getting in some of those, you know, 4 to 6+ amounts there, and then that extends into Maine, and then throughout the Maine, the peaks of Maine, and then that extreme eastern central Maine also getting those 4 inches. So you can tell that all the models that I like to use all agree here, and when those three all come together, it's really a dangerous trio when the GFS, Euro, and the RGEM work together. So this one's looking really confident at the snow amounts here, besides the tight gradient there for snow depth. Where the mixing line is, that's the only thing that's uncertain. Where that will set up is really going to change a lot of things. What I wanted to show you guys is the current radar. You can see this is a lot more precipitation out there right now than what was expected. You can see Maine are already getting some of that snow in that extreme eastern central region. If we get any sort of accumulation to start earlier on right now, that's really going to help out later on, as long as you don't mix in. So Holton and a little bit south of you, you know, you're pretty much looking at some moderate snowfall right now. Some flurries there for Holton, but south of you, definitely that moderate snow. And then you can see that heavy precipitation right there near Burlington, Vermont, just south of that region, and throughout Vermont and New Hampshire, looking at those heavier precipitations, moderate. And then you can see near the Great Lakes in upstate New York, near Buffalo and Syracuse, we also have some of that heavier precipitation. So this is kind of nowcasting at this point, but we see that the radar looks really good and a lot of convection here. Because last night's model runs didn't look too confident that we would be having a lot of this earlier, you know, rainfall and snowfall going on. So the fact that we have precipitation going on is a really good sign for the heavier snow totals. And here's my snowfall forecast here. This is my final snowfall forecast for this one. You see we get that dusting to 3 inches there for the Adirondacks and the Catskills, a little bit west of there as well. Throughout the middle portion of Vermont into northeastern Vermont, looking at a dusting to 3 inches there, likely closer to a dusting for almost all of that region. And then down through some of the mountains approaching Keene, New Hampshire. That's east of the river valley there in between New Hampshire and Vermont. We're looking at some dustings on the peaks and approaching an inch as you get closer to the White Mountains. And then we get that 3 to 6 range that extends from Berlin, New Hampshire down to the White Mountains into the Conway area. And then that extends all the way through eastward, northeastward through Maine, and then out to the east central portion of Maine. And you can see where that mixed line is going to be by the white region here is really close to that darker blue on my forecast map. That's really where the mixing line is going to set up somewhere in there, and that's really going to affect your snowfall totals, like I said. But we look to see 6 to 10 amounts from the White Mountains all the way through into Maine. As I showed the models before, they seem really confident in that, and I do too. This just seems like a really realistic outcome for this storm this time of year. And then also that extreme eastern central Maine region. I think we're going to get a lot of backbanding. Once the low pressure system moves on, the models want to put a lot more convection back into Maine, and it twists back in, and we get some extended snow there towards the end of the storm, and I think that's really where you're going to pick up a lot of your accumulation there. That's why I brought back the 6 to 10 for that region. I wouldn't really be surprised if the two 6 to 10 regions there connect. I just think that there's less chance for that heavier precipitation in between the two, but we're going to keep a close eye on that, and as always, I'm going to make sure to do an after the forecast video or tweet or something comparing the actual snowfall that happened to my forecast so that we can get a forecast review and everything. Anyway, guys, make sure you follow that Twitter if you are in the affected region here, because you'll definitely want to keep up with the updates and everything. But besides that, I just hope you guys have a great day and a great night. I don't think there'll be a live stream tonight, so this is probably it for today. I might make a Halloween forecast today or tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.